Okay, as I mentioned earlier, benchmarking is an effective tool for financial analysis. Also, this can be done both internally and externally. It gives the person doing the analysis targets or ranges, red flags, as a basis for them to draw conclusions that suggest either good or bad news. Again, internally or externally, you can do benchmarking. It can be based on past performance or trends over 5, 10 years within a government, or it can be benchmarked against average data for similar governments with, similar size, similar credit history, credit ratings, things like that. Using these credit or using published credit industry benchmarks. Those are really, really helpful. Um, Signs of financial distress. These interpreting financial analysis is a challenge, but these are some signs of financial distress. And you'll notice that I've got a picture of Detroit, Michigan here for as an example of government in financial distress. So these are declining revenues relative to expenditures, declining property values, declining economic activities with metrics such as retail sales, erosion of capital plant, which there are several metrics for that. Several metrics that can be used without having to go to, that are useful in measuring that. What may seem like something that's not very quantifiable. There's increasing levels of unfunded obligations, which of all these municipalities that are in financial trouble or have already declared bankruptcy, this is number one. Pension obligations are killing them. Or an inadequate level of capital expenditures. It could show that governments aren't doing preventive maintenance. They're not replacing capital assets as in a timely way as they used to. They're allowing things to go unrepaired, and so this can kind of give an indication of financial distress. And again, I've got a picture of Stockton, California up here as the a government that declared bankruptcy. Again, pension obligations were a big problem there. But the credit analysts are important because borrowing is a major source of funding for most governments. So credit analysts are extremely interested in a government's ability to pay principal and interest when they're due. These rating agencies like Moody's, S&P, Fitch, they're all considered one of the primary, if not the primary users of the CAFR. And as you can see here, there's various rating levels. There's AAA, which is kind of a relative term. It's the government or entity with the most likely ability to pay its debt, and most likely that the debt obligations will be honored, as you see by this chart here. Once you get down single A, below single A, which single A is there's a reasonable likelihood that debt obligations will be honored, you start getting into below investment grade obligations, which a lot of mutual funds that invest in bonds, or a lot of investment policies by investor groups like pension funds or university endowments, things like that. Investment policies won't even consider a bond if it is below investment grade. So that single A rating there is very important. And investors of all types, they use these ratings as crude indicators of a financial long-term financial condition of an entity like a government. So this has been a good overview here of how financial analysis are completed and the components of them for governments. And that will be it.